Hello, my name is Francis Fox, and this is our chat podcast called Francis Fox News from Other Dimensions. As you all know, if you've been here before, I have been trained in all the psychic skills, and I was trained by the military. And they also use scientists. So I have some filters through which I look at life, particularly having to do with the fact that the people that trained me haven't let me go yet, even though we're not sure who's in charge of those people who trained me, because I don't think it's Trump quite yet. The mind control program that I was in is very interesting. It was supposed to be revealed over 30 years ago, and they weren't able to do it. Many people have talked about being in it, and yet nothing has been done because the people that run it, are going to run it are very skilled in the other dimensions. And power is in the other dimensions. It's not on the physical. Physical is a manifestation of what's already happening in the other dimensions or already happened. And until we can wrap our heads around that, and until we can know what human consciousness is like, we're not going to get a grip on the mind control issues. That isn't just military mind control. We're talking about cults also. And people talk about satanic cults. There's all sorts of different cults, I would imagine, but the kind of stuff that we think about when you think about satanic cults, which has to do with yuck sex, is used by the US intelligence. It's a weapon, it's a tool, it's a technique, because it's what breaks people. So, but we're not going to go into that. Let's go into the maps that I did. And let's start first with the map with the bombs. So now, as you can see, the four bombs are no longer within. I guess this is DC. I'm not very familiar. I don't need to be. I just need to be accurate when I draw. What I did pick up is that those bombs are in trucks. I think they're white. The only thing that I could see, and I'm not really good in seeing the physical dimension, so I'm surprised that I could see even this. But I think that at the top of the truck, they have like this little opening, and it has to do with having an antenna. And these trucks can roll around the city to wherever they need to be. And supposedly they will be detonated from not from within the truck. And supposedly they're telling the people that are driving the trucks, are there people driving the trucks or all these driverless trucks? Now, I think there's people involved with these trucks, and they have been told that they're going to have enough time to get out of the way for when they detonate these bombs, but that's not really true. The people that are going to detonate the bombs could not care less about those that are rolling around in the trucks. So it might be good for them to know that. So, and then there's a question mark on Capitol Hill, but it's green, which means it's good. Do you remember that I had put there was something about the Catholic Church, Catholic University, and that there was a lot of anger there coming towards the Capitol? Let me find the map. This was yesterday. See? Well, since yesterday, the Pope has been hospitalized and he's been obviously really angry. So that kind of makes sense. Now, when are they going to get around to investigating Operation Peter Pan, which was the largest organized sex trafficking plan, operation until then, which would have been 60 when they brought all the little kids from Cuba, but they couldn't bring the parents. They just brought the little kids, and then they just distributed them across the United States to people that were waiting with open arms. Largest sex trafficking operation until then. And it was operated by the Vatican and by the CIA. So maybe the Catholic Church is understanding that maybe they're not going to get the kind of free pass that they've always gotten. Whatever it is, when I sketch that, I hate from the Catholic University to Congress or to this area, I thought, I wonder what's going on there. A lot's going on, and a lot more will be going on. We could probably save a ton of money if we don't fund the most respectable sex trafficking organization on the planet, and we've known this for hundreds of years. How can we continue to send our children to Catholic schools? I don't get that. An addiction to hierarchy, an addiction to what other people think, or because all the prime women in all sorts of countries were schooled in Catholic schools? Yeah, they were priming those women, to pair off with men of power in those countries. Meanwhile, the Catholic Church still has one hand in them. So, you know what? Let's move along on this. The Pope is in the hospital because he's so frustrated. Lungs. Lungs has to do with grief. It's okay that he grieve. How can you be part of the Vatican and be critical of a country that has had to take pretty dramatic measures in order to protect its future and the economy of its people by controlling immigration? How can you, from the Vatican, have any opinion at all? You don't have the right to have an opinion on anything. All you do is take in money and it never goes out. You have walls, everybody swears and knows there's so much secrecy there. How can you possibly? Why haven't people thrown tomatoes at them? How can they possibly not see the hypocrisy? And it's because they've gotten away with it, because the paradigm of power was hierarchy, and the Catholic Church was way, way, way at the top in terms of spirituality. Well, I think that kind of ended. Anyway, happy Valentine's Day. I'm not having a great Valentine's Day, but that's okay. Here's the map for the United States today. Texas, California, why all that black magic? I have no idea. But I don't think I don't actually know. I actually don't know. We still continue with the red here. Not sure what's going on there. We do have you can barely see it, the spaceship. It's there. The Merkaba. We're solid. We're stable. Something's going on with the Schumann resonance that's pretty big. Something's going to be going on pretty big to have this kind of protection that the United States has now is incredible. You can't get any luckier. Let me remind Trump that this Galactic Federation protection came at 11 o'clock, I believe it was the 15th of January, when a peace agreement was reached in the Mideast. Trump, you need to be really careful with what you're doing there, because whatever you're doing there is going to have everything to do with what's going on over here. And remember, Jerusalem is the largest portal, the original one, and I think it's the largest one that's on the planet today. Doing business in New York City and in China and in the Panama Canal is not the same thing as doing business in the portal that throughout history, it has been believed that the whole planet is going to go down because of wars that are going to start there in Jerusalem. So Trump, pay attention to that. It's not business as usual. The environment is completely different. So we have Florida looking good, but further up, I think further up than where Mar-a-Lago is, there's a lot of red there. I don't know what that is. Somebody may know what's going on there. The pyramids in the Gulf of Mexico are bigger, and those are stabilizing. So it looks good. There's a couple of things, but it looks good. The whole California thing, I have not figured out. We worked so much on California, and there's always something a little bit off on it. Same way as with Ukraine, when the Mantrista movement group, when 2 or 3 years ago, we went to the 20 Latin American countries to clear the land of any congestions that might trigger violence. Everybody said we have to go to Ukraine. Okay, let's go. Let's see what's going on there. Other dimensionally having to do with the elements, not politics. and we couldn't get the fire to get reduced. It was like, and we couldn't find out, we weren't getting the information of what was going on. What I did get was, we're not going to make any difference here. We need to pack our bags and leave, because there's something going on here that is planetary, probably off planet influence, and we are not going to be able to make a difference. So we left and we never went back. We did create a Fox Montrista video with the Medusas, the pink Medusas, and the sounds and vibrations of love, with the map of Ukraine. It's on my YouTube channel, but honestly, we don't talk about it. We understood that that is not a place where we can make a difference with what it is that we do, which is shamanism. And we've been so successful in many other countries, but same as in Bolivia. When we went to go to Bolivia to clear, and it's a small country, we were told, don't come in, do not come in. Bolivia apparently is a huge portal, and so business as usual, not in Bolivia. And it has nothing to do with good or bad. I'm not exactly sure, but it doesn't have to do with good or bad. It has to do with, you really shouldn't be doing business, and you can't really pitch in and help out, because what you're going to do is not going to make any difference. So now I would like to get into what it is that we have. A couple of people in intelligence. We have Patel, that apparently is going to be totally in. I need for him to be in, because I suspect that my handler was FBI. I always thought it was CIA, but I suspect he was FBI, which means that I'm attached to the FBI because of him, because he was my handler for like 20 years. So now we have Patel. Patel, I think, is Hindi. This is good. Hindi, I think, is the biggest religion on the planet. I think they have more followers than Catholicism. But from what I can see, and I know a little bit about this, it's a religion based on what works in the other dimensions. They know about the chakras, but you don't really even need to know about the chakras, but they know what works in the other dimensions. And they have the symbolism totally under control. They understand the whole transference of energy. In other words, in Buddhism, if you're going to do an initiation with some Buddhist monk or geisha Rinpoche, they have a particular Buddha. And that Buddha has many arms, the strings, mind strings, each one holding an object. And their legs are in a particular position, depending upon what they want to emphasize. And you're supposed to be looking at this as you're repeating the words of the initiation. What you're trying to get that's in that Buddha with those particular objects, which are always different depending upon, to transfer to you. So in Hinduism, they have a whole, what do they call it? Not a panorama. There's a word that starts with a P. They have a whole group of beings that basically are symbolic of concepts or energies, and they're incorporated, like Ganesh, the elephant that people put in their front doors, but they put it backwards so you can see their backside, not their heads. Ganesh is the energy of prosperity, root chakra. And they use it in Feng Shui. Many people use it. And it really, what you're saying is, you're calling in that type of energy, rooting, grounded, elephant, earth, having to do with your prosperity. So we have a couple of people in close to the intelligence community. The head of the FBI is Hindi. The director of national intelligence, Tulsi, I think she's Hindi also. This poor guy, John Radcliffe, I guess we could teach him about the chakras real quick. Here's the point. The point is that if when you get sick, you go to the doctor and you wait for him to tell you, and you kind of know, maybe it's my heart, maybe it's whatever. And the doctor will send you home with prescriptions and probably tell you you're never going to really clear this, but you can manage it with this stuff. If you're into Hinduism or any of these alternative spirits. Hinduism is not alternative, very mainstream, millions and millions of people. When you get sick, you and everybody else who knows you knows what your problem is. When you go to the doctor, he has to put you through all these tests and these things, and his intuition has to be put to the side. He's got to do the testing, and then it's got to fall into a category that feeds into prescription drugs, whatever, usually long term. But if you get sick and you know about this alternative stuff, you can't just say, I have sleep apnea, which means you stop breathing at night. You can't just say that. You can, but then everybody is going to know you're a liar. Why am I saying that? Because sleep apnea is in the throat chakra, energy center, which has to do, it is truth. Truth, truth. So the worst thing almost that you can do is to stop breathing, not associated with your heart, but associated with this part of you, which is throat chakra. It means you're all clogged up because you've lied so much. Now, back off. You may simply be emotionally dishonest. You may be walking around with a smile on your face that everything is fine when it's not fine. And you may not even know it's not fine, but you're so used to saying, oh, it's okay. When it's not okay, you're so used to saying, yeah, I know I've been on the job a lot of years, but I really like it. I still like the job. When the truth of the matter is you're up to here, but you don't dare admit it because then it means that maybe you have to do something. So it could all be social, emotional dishonesty, but you're still clogged up. If you say you have cancer, not that many people, but everybody soon is going to know, oh, you're really tough, aren't you? Nobody's going to knock you down, are they? And you're not going to let anybody know how much you're suffering, huh? I'm a cancer candidate. Cancer is a combination of rage and an impotence, a feeling of impotence. There's nothing I can do about it, which is basically where I am right now. I'm in a rage, and there's nothing I can do. I have to watch everybody else doing stuff, and I can talk about some stuff here and hope the bad guys don't decide to take me down, but I can't really do anything. But don't I look graceful as I'm lying in terms of the image that I'm putting out? So I am a candidate. Now, I take a lot of cannabis to make sure that my fire stays reduced. I have stuff going on here because of everything that's going on and the worry that Patel wouldn't get in, whatever. But when you have an issue, pancreatitis, oh, my mother has pancreatitis, they don't really give her long to live. Your mother, at some point recently, accepted that she's never going to be happy. That's when you get pancreatitis. You cannot have pancreatitis unless inside of you, consciously or subconsciously, you decided you're never going to be happy. So in the future, initially, maybe the people will be, oh, wow, look what but after that, people are going to say, oh my God, you know what? You really need to talk more about your frustrations, Francis. You need to vent your rage. God, I'm not sure I can do more mantras, or people will say, come on, let's review this with somebody who has issues with their pancreas. Come on. Let's look at this. I'm sure there's something can change here. Let's do some mantras about, even though I'm sure I'll never be happy, or even though I will never be happy, I love and accept myself. So people will pitch in. But truthfully, people are not going to be able to hide what is making their spirit sick. So part of you that gets sick is that astral spirit body. So we have the head of the FBI and the director of national intelligence were both raised in Hinduism, from what I understand. And who was it? Okay. I'm happy about that. By the way, in those religions, being psychic, oh my God, you're like a gift. Rather than the United States being psychic, You're lower than low, low class, low IQ, stupid, charlatan. I'll never forget, I was on a radio show, my own show. Some guy calls, I would answer questions. And so this next caller, and I said, okay, how can I help you? And then I couldn't even hear what he was asking as a question. And I said, why do I keep hearing the word charlatan? And he burst out laughing. He says, he said, that's what I think you are. I said, do you still think it now? He said, no, he said, I don't think it anymore. Anyway, we are like lower than low. I am a little bit higher because I was trained by the government remote viewing. And my family still hated it. So we have people that are multidimensional in their upbringing. Yep. This is a good thing, Trump. So we've got to get to Kennedy. I have to figure it out. As soon as all that income that I've been promised is going to comes in, as soon as I get the money that the government owes me, this is a lot of years. I'm going to hire somebody heavy duty and we're going to do a presentation to Kennedy having to do with starting to work on root cause of diseases. Because you see, if you work at the level of cause, it's super efficient. You don't have all these little symptoms. You don't have to be on medication forever. You can actually take care of something. So I'm going to be working on something that I offered a particular group of Buddhist monks. I said, listen, I have this whole Mantrista movement, and we've done some really, my blouse is not straight, okay? And I'm not going to be able to speak unless I get my blouse to be straight, because that's it. There we go. Maybe I'll be able to talk now. So I offered that our group, we would collect data. Now we're talking science. Science is observant to our conclusion. And we had done that already with diabetes because they have that little machine. So I said, this is not an issue. Guys, mantristas, take a photograph of the machine, do the mantra, which is even though I'm not happy, I love and accept myself. That's the mantra for diabetes. And then take it again. And we got great results. Same thing with blood pressure. Your blood pressure's high, take a photograph of the numbers, do the mantra, even though I hate and there's nothing I can do about it. That's the one for blood pressure. Take it again. So I offered that we could help collect data and then they could reproduce it or have other people that would be totally under their control to make sure we weren't playing games, whatever. Whoa. This group, the head of this group of monks was furious at me. I mean, I'm talking I've seen monks angry twice. That was the second time. Another time was a legitimate reason. He had just done a spectacular healing and a group of people came in and completely wiped out everything he had done. And it was for a person that was in their deathbed in intensive care. So I can understand his anger. This monk was angry. Oh my God. I have the letter. But we're going to present this again. And it's not a question of working with our particular group of people. It's already set up. It's easy. It could be another group of people. But we can do this. So this is getting exciting. We're getting to an exciting time. If we have a little bit of darkness right here, I know, I can't go out. Getting real creative about the food that's in my refrigerator and in my covers. But it's getting very exciting. That makes me happy to say that. Okay. Your face never lies. Doesn't lie. All those people, white above the eye, white under the eye, even me, my right eye, that is today it's better. See, you can see the white there, but some days when I'm really stressed, this eye moves in and you cannot see any white there. That's not supposed to be, but I already know it's because I'm stressed. And too many times in the last several years, sometimes if I make a big gesture, you can see the white on top of my eyes. It means a tremendous disconnect from reality. It's understandable in my case, but it's still frightening. I can't have that happen. I need to go outside. I need to sleep on hammocks under trees, get enough of the earth element, and that won't happen. I can't do that now. Drive-by shootings are a very real thing. Anyway, but we are definitely in a very different place. And not we, Trump has aligned with people that can take us into the multidimensionality. And without that, we can't do the whole ET thing. You can't just go from the physical dimension and all your beliefs that are very limited on the physical dimension and meet with beings that are not just multidimensional, they're galactic. Doesn't work, guys. You don't even know the other dimensions of this planet. You still think mythology is just a story, and for some crazy reason, you have to study it at school. If it's just a story, why not just have you study comic books at school? It's real. And by the way, going against my better judgment, yesterday I had an event in which I cleared people's heads. Literally, that's the name of the event, your head, because our heads are like not so great. And at the end of it, I was working on the third eye, that eye that's on the dollar bill that everybody gets upset about. You should want that third eye there. Third eye is wisdom. The information I got is just like the ETs worked with Hitler in the Second World War, and then they dropped him and he lost the war. The ETs worked with the Egyptians. That's why they were able to do the pyramids. I'm not saying the ETs did the pyramids. I'm telling you they worked with them, and a lot of people know that. But what I didn't know, but came up yesterday because I was literally working inside people's third eye, was that before they dropped the Egyptians, or when they dropped them, they took the third eye. In other words, you have two and then you have a third one. And they took the third eye and they buried it underneath your right eye. So you have two eyes. No, you don't. You have three. Well, one of them is buried. So it's not operational. So in the middle of the healing, I went ahead and I pulled it out of the burial. And what I said was that starting today, last night, today, you may find yourself viewing things differently. You may see the same problem, but you may see it differently to where you have more of an understanding of it. Third eye is extra information. That extra information gives you wisdom. That was interesting and that was good. And again, we have to study mythology, but we can't believe in it. Okay. Okay. So I think that's your face. I don't remember her name. I think her name is Carolyn, and she's the woman who does the reporters thing every day for Trump. Very pretty woman. Pay attention. Look at a photograph of her 2 months ago. She's very pretty. Look at her today. You will notice that she's fatter here. Here, we hold resentment. See? Not fat. Not that. Here, we hold resentment. She really lashes out at people, which I think is good because she's being real. But she's not doing enough of it because it's on her face now. She will not look the same by the end of the year. She won't look the same in March. Now, what could change that? Resentment is anger. Cannabis, they make it in creams. Don't take out the THC, leave the THC in it. And she could wear cream on her face every night. And that would help reduce the fire, which is in her skin, the fire, the anger, the frustration that she has. If you pay attention to people's faces, you can see changes and you can figure out where they're coming from. She is lashing out at the people that are asking stupid questions, but she's not doing enough. What would, if I were her, what would I do? If I want to stay as pretty as she is, because she really is really pretty, I would do the hate mantra. Even though I hate him and there's nothing I can do, I love and accept myself, because she's going to have to deal with these people. She's not going to be able to just deal with intelligent people that have her same agenda. That's not her job to start out with. If everybody was like that, she wouldn't have to have these little conferences every morning, these little talks, whatever it is. I don't remember what they call. So I have not looked at Patel. His eyes always look like he has an awful lot of stress. His third eye is very heavy. I suspect he's incredibly psychic, and I suspect that he has to hold back a lot because it's not acceptable to the people, because they can't see it. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking. Let's do a mantra, and let's do the mantra that I need. Even though I hate everyone and everybody, even though I hate everything and everybody, I love and accept myself. And let's do it. Okay. This should get you a lot of relief. Okay. And we're going to do I got the Agni music, the one for reducing fire with the waterfall. I got it with the map of the United States. So I will have it up by tomorrow. Well, Monday, because it's weekend, right? Okay, here we go. 10 minutes. Remember, the mantra is repeated in silence in your head. You do not move your mouth with the words, because if not, it gets very tiring and you can only do a certain amount. Okay? So let's go. You know what? Wondering if we should go to the subconscious. No, let's just get the fire out. Let's get this down. I forgot to tell you the most interesting news. Do you feel better, by the way? Let me put up the white dress. You should feel better. Yeah, it's cleaner. Okay. This morning, there was a meeting in Miami that I was not invited to. I'm not invited to these meetings. And a lot of people were gathered together, Cubans, and whoever, I don't know who it was reading everybody the Riot Act, reminding everybody that they know where their children are, where their grandchildren are. So everybody behave. Now that we have Patel there, the FBI is in charge of somebody that it would appear is not going to give them the free pass they've had for 60 years. So they got, I guess, some power players together or some people that they thought were weaker, or simply they wanted to, but it was a group of people. And they were being reminded. In other words, the blackmail. And I will never forget in the 90s when I had this guy that it turned out that he was assigned to be my babysitter, and he would babysit agents that went bad, that went rogue. They considered me that I went rogue because I didn't want to keep working anymore. And by the way, my control in Washington also did not want me to continue to do that kind of work. He couldn't control the Cuban mafia. Trump, are you listening? So this morning they had a meeting. Of course, last night Patel, it appeared, secured the nomination. So Miami, everybody is going to run around like everything is okay. It's not okay. As quickly as you can get in here, Trump, with all the big guys, you need to get in here. And the first thing you need to do is to protect those that we are getting blackmailed with. If you love somebody, you're going to get blackmailed. Castro never did that. And I remember when the chief of police of Miami, who was new, was Cuban, brought in from California, he mentioned that there was a Cuban mafia. And then somebody called him on it, some reporter, and he said, well, yeah. Whoa, they went after him, and he was part of them. But apparently he wasn't part of the in crowd. And he said on national TV, he said, you know what? This group of Cuban mafia, they're worse than Castro. Castro never did the kind of things these guys are doing. The first thing they do is go after your kids and your grandkids. So Trump, you love your kids, right? I love mine too. There's a lot of people in Miami that love their kids. We can't move. We can't breathe. And they have protection in Washington. They're not doing this on their own. So you need to get this taken care of. I know, I know, I know. You needed to have your intelligence team together. But this has to be a priority. There's something about this group of Cuban mafia that when you get this taken care of, you're going to get, I'm going to say it now, you're going to have the ET thing, the mind control thing, the sex trafficking, the drug trafficking, okay? All of that is a string. You pull on one and you end up in the other. Why the ET thing? I don't know, but I know that that's a fact. You cannot be a politician in Miami and not either be part of that in group or totally blackmailed by that group, which means that those politicians cannot possibly be what they would want to be. Can you take care of this, Trump? I'd really appreciate it. And I think everybody else in Miami would also. We really would. And it would be very good for this country. Miami's a very fun place. Actually, Trump, you have a daughter that lives here. Let's get this taken care of. Patel is in. No more excuses. Get it taken care of. Thanks a lot for listening. Bye.